feathered queen surveying her domain. Look at Loki. He just strolled up here like a tiny king surveying his whole domain. You think he sees the grand plans for the pier, Wilson? See Hazel, she snuffles right near the edge, looking quite fond of the freshly piled driftwood. Hope you enjoy this lovely little corner of the island, friend. Wow, look at Hazel. She ambles right up here, staring with such serious little eyes. Wonder what this smart creature wants from its favorite visitor, Wilson. Bright sunshine warms my back like a benediction. I recall how the moon holds the ocean waters twice daily, keeping this lifeblood flowing. Crimson sunset paints the western lagoon like spilled wine. The jumbo canopy glows with a humid, emerald sheen. These sheep are going at it like they owe each other some kind of ancient debt, Wilson. Such a vigorous little ballet for two such fluffy bundles. Over yonder, the old monkey chitters, inspecting the pile of kindling as if it were some grand feast. Maybe he knows a better spot for my next fire pit, Wilson. When the dawn finally broke over the water, I remember thinking that everything was out of sync, Wilson. The ticking of that old Pocky's watch seemed to mock the endless, unmeasured expanse of the ocean. So I decided, right there, that the first ray hitting the humming stone would be my true meridian, the start of everything. I carved those notches into the rock, marking the passage of the sun's blessing, never by a clock hand, but by the light itself. It felt like a true beginning, a rhythm set only by grace and the rising sun's gold dust. Kiwi wanders past this way, chewing its cud like it's contemplating the mysteries of the Almighty. A steady companion, just like a good hymn, Wilson. Emerald green vines drape down from the overhang, looking like forgotten curtains in some grand hall. Golden sunlight catches the polished sheen on the jungle floor, making it look like scattered bits of stained glass. See Lola, she pads by like a velvet shadow, inspecting the fresh pile of palm fronds. A graceful creature, much like the devil rhythm of the Ave Maria, wouldn't you say? Fancy how the rain used to sheet down the glass, making the world look all blurry and safe, Wilson. A strange luxury, that quiet boredom of being sheltered from the wild wet. Little crab scuttles sideways, investigating the edge of my carefully stacked stones. You always seem to find the prettiest things to look at, don't you? Curious how Zuza stares at my hands, making me remember that first time I built that shelter. It felt sturdy as the promises I made to God. Small puff of white drifts past, little puff. The snow makes everything feel so quiet, doesn't it? By the lion wanders through the white drifts, looking rather stately for a fellow caught in the frost. Keeps his mane quite tidy despite this dusting of winter fluff. Blizzard drifts past, little blizzard. This white blanket makes everything feel impossibly peaceful, doesn't it? Over yonder, the sand shines like bleached bone dust, catching the sun's bright, relentless stare, Wilson. Look at Bobai, just sitting there like a little statue admiring my efforts. What does a cat like you want, amigo? brilliant sun beats down, warming my bones right through to the marrow. I should carve a little devotional niche for the Blessed Mother right near the fire pit. Seeing Kiwi the zebra graze near the water's edge, he seems quite content with this patch of green. Perhaps he knows a good spot for me to hang the next fishing net. Listen close to the sound of that gentle wash. Little gecko hops across my boot heel, a tiny emerald skipping stone. Dripping curtain of gray washes over everything, Wilson. Even Figo seems to be wearing a wet, thoughtful expression tonight. Jolly good show. Look at those fox go. They are having a proper scrap over some imaginary piece of driftwood, I wager. The deep velvet of the night swallows up every distant sound, doesn't it? Wish Milo would settle down and stop sniffing at my boots like that. Sunrise is a promise, isn't it? Just another tick on the enormous, relentless face of the clock, even if that clock is just the slow crawl of the tide. These new drying racks I built Wilson. They look sturdy enough to hang the entire village's catch. I swear, they stand up like a proper chapel facade, don't they? Just this little rock, Rocky, seems to think he's the main attraction tonight. Perhaps he's waiting for the grand opening of my magnificent, solitary museum. The sky opens up like a washed-out sheet, Wilson. It chills me right down to the bone, remembering marriage's warm shawl. I remember the day I finally started the East Garden wall, hauling those slick, heavy stones from where the tide whispers secrets. Each one had to be scrubbed clean, dried out in the sun until the salt film was gone, and I sorted through them by size, rejecting 17 stones that looked structurally impolite. My arms burned something fierce that day, but I kept laying them, placing them with the care of a stonemason building a crypt for a saint. By dusk, I had a solid curve, and when I finally leaned back, the smell of damp earth mixed with the sharp, sweet scent of blooming jungle flowers filled the cooling air. Heaven's canopy is a blanket of diamonds tonight, Wilson. I wonder if the angels are keeping watch over my little corner of paradise. Bobby the cat seems quite interested in my worn leather boot. I wonder if I'll ever really remember how the city smells, you know. Listen, little gecko, you dance across the bark like a tiny streak of emerald lightning. I bet your jungle siblings have a far more complicated dance routine than that. Peppa, you magnificent beast, watches me from the undergrowth. You look like a king surveying his overgrown jungle keep. Stars are scattered like spilled sugar across the black cloth, Wilson. I should really try to map out the constellations before the memory of the boat trip fades away. Little sparks of starlight seem to wink just at the corner of my makeshift jetty, reminding me of the terrible, beautiful flare of that first campfire. Mighty creature, you approach with such solemn grace. Are you hoping for a spare crumb or just admiring my workmanship, friend? Over by the water's edge, Tofu the llama stands sentinel, munching quietly beneath the impossible sprawl of those stardust diamonds. Breathtakingly, the deep indigo of the water mirrors the vast, unblemished tapestry of the night sky. Never forget that reds and purples on the leaves are actually new pigments the tree crafts to shield itself while it reclaims its inner bounty. It's nature's clever little costume change, a beautiful farewell show. Should I rig the main roof of the shelter to burn bright at dawn, Wilson? It might send a smoke column straight up to the Maker's palace. The sky is weeping buckets tonight, Wilson. I swear the roof leaks right onto my precious pile of salvaged rope. Suddenly, those two foxes are going at it near the ponds. Looks like a dispute over who gets the prime nap spot, doesn't it? Passing by the curtain of rain, Suki the fox pauses on a wet rock. You always seem to know the best spots for a little drink. Rain slicking the jungle floor. Look at that little crab scuttling sideways. He moves like he's late for an appointment with the Almighty. Dripping down like tears from some forgotten saint. This downpour makes me think of the baptismal font back home. I should gather more palm fronds for the roof before this deluge truly sets in. Seeing that small, sleek lizard dart beneath the overhang, he moves like a tiny emerald jewel lost in the gloom. Remember when I first managed to get that sturdy crossbeam set up for the main shelter? The whole thing looked like an old man waking up from a deep sleep, and the fresh scent of wet, splintered wood hung heady in the air. I swear, every joint had to be hammered into submission by sheer will. Blazing sun overhead feels like a divine spotlight on this little patch of sand, Wilson. Remember how the tilt toward the sun gives us those long, glorious days of summer. Hazel the goat just nibbled right up to my newest pile of driftwood. These days here, time is measured by the tide's slow breath, not any fussy clock hand. By the grace of God, look at Milo. That poor giant is truly wet.
Subscribe and ring the bell.